In this video, I'm going to continue on with creating my maps for my my project area. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the land development and the zoning. I don't need that anymore because I've already created my map. The nice thing is I've already got my project area labeled out too. Now the nice thing, I'm going to start from the top and go down and talk about what maps we could create. Right now we have community services. We could also turn on the aerial that goes on top of it. I'm not sure if it's going to regen just yet. Nope, I'm going to go ahead and leave that off. The community service has to do with code enforcement, maybe health hospitals in the neighborhoods. We can map out how close we are to the different neighborhood watches, the public service, art, school, zoning, things like that, or zip codes, figure out what the zip code is. I'm not going to worry so much about public services right now. This would be looked at if we did a feasibility report for this project. Now, we're going to look at the economic development. In the report, you have to determine who you're selling the houses to. So you might want to look at the foreclosures that's in the neighborhoods for selling, how much they're selling for. The enterprise zones apparently aren't near where our project is. RCA, they don't have an RCA district, tax credit district. So we don't have a lot of information other than foreclosures in our area. So we could take a look at that and say, all right, we have these foreclosures. What's the size of the house in this? And we can get some information for our development. I'm going to not worry about the economic development. I'm just showing you the different information that's available. Collapse that. I'm going to turn that one off. In environmental, we can turn on the soils and we can get a soils map for our area. Typically, we do the soils map using the SCS or NRCS map. Now, here's the thing is it's got the same layout. They're using the information from the SCS also. So this is another way to actually create a nice layout for the space map. So I'm going to actually lighten this back a bit, and I can see what soils are here. We can see that there's a 47. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Show Legend, and okay, that doesn't help me. I'm going to take that back off. I'm going to unclick Show Legend. But in this one, if I wanted to create a map of this, then I could go Map, and I can say for this, soil map for project. And the reason we need the soil map is for construction and for hydrology and hydraulics. And I can print this map. So this is our soils map, and I'll save this, and I'll say, put it in my project location. Soils map. I'll go ahead and close that out. Now I'm going to click on the hydric soils. Now the reason I'm interested in the hydric soils has to do with the wetland permitting. Certain types of soils, and notice that it's not in our area, shows that these could actually be wetland soils. So I'm not going to worry so much about that. Now here's another thing is, in this one, it has the National Wetland Inventory. You can see up here is where the wetlands are at. It's not near our project, but we could go ahead and click on that to create a map showing that we don't have wetlands in our area. I'm not going to make another map with this, but it is an option. Okay. Now, well, I take that back. I am going to make a map just to prove that anybody that's reviewing our project that we don't have wetlands in the location of our project area. So wetland, I'm going to say no wetlands within project area. No wetlands within project area. And you can give the maps any names you wish. And I'm going to print. Open file, and then we can see what is acceptable, what is where the wetlands are within a distance of our project. So I'll go ahead and save this out. I'm going to go ahead and save it to my desktop instead of pathing out and move it later. Wetlands. Okay, I'm going to close that out. Uncheck that. Now we can go to get information on the census. If we're interested, we can do it based on our colleges. I'm interested in jurisdictions. I want to know who the water management districts are. And preservation, joint planning. I don't think I want joint planning. Preservation. I'm just going to go with water management districts on this, and then just show legend. I'm sorry. Print map. Okay. Water management. Now, we wouldn't need this map because we would already know what water management district we're in. But if we wanted to just keep it as a file location, then we could do that. It does water management districts in pink, but it doesn't actually list out who the water management district is. So that's not useful until we actually get identification. So I'm going to go back to identification and point. And it should tell me who the water management district is. Yep, St. John's Water Management District. Okay, so on that, I'm not going to make a map on that, but if we had a large project over multiple areas, we may want to create a map. Let's go back to our map layers. So I'm going to uncheck that. We talked about the land development, but we also have within this land development the restrictions if we're in the Wekiva area. I don't believe we are, so nope. Impact fees. This tells us what impact fees would be required for transportation. I'm not going to worry so much about that level of detail for a subdivision project, but impact fees are really important when you start developing roadways and houses. Plan development for the Orange County. Okay. We're not in the historic district, and I do not believe we are near the airport on this. So I clicked on those, and we don't have any airport restrictions. I don't believe there's any here's an important thing, former defense sites. This is just for munition dump sites possibly, or because there was a few areas that had issues with development and being located near a former munition site. One of the things that we have is the future land use, and you can see what the future land use map has with respect to certain areas. So it wasn't until I clicked on future land use that anything came up. So let me check those, and then we can put the labels on there. So the future land use in this area is the low density residential. So I'm going to go ahead and make a map of that. So tasks, print map, Orange County future land use map. Sometimes it's called a FLU. And print. And I'm going to save that map as future land use project area. I'm going to go ahead and close it out, and then I'm going to uncheck that. See what else we have. In the survey area, we have benchmark information. So if we were working for a civil survey company, then we'd want to know where our location is for our benchmark data. And I would print this map out. So we go bench. The other thing is you can get information on each one of these benchmarks through this site also. So I'm going to save this and call it Survey Benchmark Data for Project. Go ahead and close that one out. All right, and the next thing I'm going to look at, uncheck the survey, has transportation overlays. I don't believe we're in a transportation district, so no, I clicked on those, there's nothing there. We already talked about zoning, so I'll uncheck that. We talked about property. We could show all the addresses, but I'm not going to for this. And it's easier if you zoom closer to the project, so I could zoom in and get addresses for each one of these. I'm going to go back to the survey one for just a quick second, and I'm going to zoom back out. And I'm going to identify this point right here. So this is the information for that benchmark. And we would actually keep that information in our file for whoever's surveying it if we had our own surveying company. So I'm going to go back to map layers. I'm going to turn off the address. Government interests, real estate, county interest in real estate is the information. This is plat book page number, so we don't have anything within our area, so I'm going to uncheck that. We've already talked about parcels. Public safety and rescue, how close is the local fire station? Where's the stations at? So we could print up a map with related to public safety or law enforcement. I'm going to take a look at, check that, and uncheck that. Take a look at transportation. We've got the roads, intersections. We've got maintenance districts. This one's Zellwood, maintenance units. This usually has to do with our stormwater management. CIPs, projects. So I'm not going to do anything with roads or transits. I don't know if there's any bus systems out here, so this might be something that would be listed on a comprehensive development plan. But our project is so small that we wouldn't have a comprehensive development plan on this. Remember, the comp plan is something that's overall large in nature. Our utilities, we can turn on our providers for who our sewer, water, and storm is. And I wouldn't print out a map. I would just highlight them and then use the identification to determine who our sewer, water, and storm providers are. So Apopka is our providers in this area. So I'm going to go back to map layers, uncheck utilities. Water, you can do the FEMA map, and I would go ahead and print out this one in the major drainage basins. This is in the Wekiva River Drainage Basin. So on this one, I wouldn't check. Yeah, I'll go ahead and check that. I'm going to go to our selection. Identification, rectangular, selection, search. Sorry, I'm going to go to the markup, and I'm going to edit this markup. I'm going to make that hollow so the Wekiva pops in front of it. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my map layers, and I am going to create a map for this one. So I'm underneath water, and I've got FEMA zones, so I'm going to go to tasks, and I'm going to print a map, and I'm going to write floodplain. Floodplain map. And then print that out. And save it. Now you'll actually go to the FEMA website and get the floodplain map, but this gets you a start for the project area. So if anybody ever asks, like, okay, we know we're not in the 100-year floodplain, but now we got to go get the floodplain map to know what district we're in. We could also get that information by identification and just picking on the map. And it should say, yep, here is the flood zones, and the attributes has to do with, no, it does not tell us. I thought it would give me the actual firm panel, but apparently it doesn't. So you won't have all the information available to you through this website, so you will have to look in other places. I'm going to go back to my map layer, and turn that off. Now we always want a nice base map with an aerial on it, so I'm going to uncheck those. See what else is on. I don't think I should have anything else on. Okay. Close these up. Give me 1 second. I've got something turned on graphically. This yellow. So I went through every single one of them and unchecked them to get rid of that dark area, that yellow area. So I got rid of the yellow area. Now I want to lighten my base map, and I want the aerial to show better in this. So I might even want my parcel data to my lot lines to show up. But I may have to make that darker and turn on the aerial image. Okay, this apparently it's it's not going to give me enough transparency to do that. So I'll uncheck that. And this is the best I'm going to get, is the transparency to see underneath of it with our project and the lot lines. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and create my map with that and say aerial. Oops, and print. We'll see how I'm going to do it the other way also and see how that looks and be done with this. An open file. And I'm going to go ahead and save that as aerial project. Close this one out, and I'm going to uncheck the base map, and I'm going to print that map again. And print. Oh. And I'm going to save it as aerial of project, and I'm going to call it project -A, just to give it a different name. All right. All right, that's my tutorial on how to use the Orange County Info Public Maps.